Whew. I'm always trying to learn. Ooh. Oh. I was afraid to say that, though. That's a good question. Please keep it a secret. I'll get back to you on that one.
iTunes or Spotify?
I use iTunes, both actually.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Do you have a favorite catchphrase?
Yeah, baby.
Turn it over, Shady.
Turn it over, Shady. Tangents in jazz.
What's the worst song you ever heard?
Oh my. Well, maybe Hello, Dolly.
Do you have a favorite cuisine, Bob?
I do. Dover Soul.
What's the best thing about working with Michael PALAZZOLO?
Michael has endless enthusiasm and appreciation for the role that his instrument takes in the music. There are people that are very, very talented that sometimes I feel like their ego gets in the way because they're determined to do an individual job on their instrument, but they're not seeing how that instrument affects the overall flow of the music. And Michael has always understood that and has respected what he has learned that I like to hear from the bass. And he always gives it to me. He always lets me know that that foundation is there. I feel like I have this structure underneath me that makes me comfortable and frees me up to do my thing.
What one word best describes your drummer, Billy KILSON?
Crazy. But, of course, can't describe Billy KILSON in one word. He's the most energetic, the most demonstrative, the most responsive of drummers that I could possibly ever imagine wanting to work with. And he projects that kind of enthusiasm not only to the other musicians in the band, but also to the audience too. So he's a great communicator visually, in addition to his wonderful playing.
What I thought was interesting about making the record when you were in the studio, what would you share about that, the behind the scenes?
Well, a few of the songs we used backing track, minimally, but because we wanted the record to feel like just the straight, pure piano, bass, drums trio. But some of the music that we were playing, such as Submarine or Topside from our Espresso album, had these other sounds that were involved. And so on our headphones, we incorporated a few of those sounds, some of which I wanted to try to make it seem like that I was playing that live, but actually we were using the backing track. And I had a little keyboard on top of the piano that my fingers were moving it, but that wasn't necessarily the sound that you might have been hearing on the record. So if you listen real close, maybe you can detect that. And if you do, and if you realize that I was finger syncing a little bit, please keep it a secret.
Would you rather prefer working in the studio or working or playing out live?
I guess that's a hard decision to make because they go hand in hand. Somehow, after I've focused really hard working in the studio, and I love that process of making every element as good as I can, sometimes it makes the music seem more real to me if it translates into live performance. If I can take that same piece and approach it in the same spirit that I did in the studio, but play it in front of a live audience, all of the improvising is different. And I need to have that danger of playing jazz piano in a spontaneous way, that both I and the other musicians and also the audience knows that it's happening right at that moment, and it's never going to happen that way again. You can't translate that into a recording that becomes permanent. No matter whether you improvised it in the studio, when a listener hears that recording, that improvisation is going to be the same every time. Nothing you can do about that. So for that reason, it's the live performance that keeps the spirit of spontaneous improvising going for me.
Ever hear or think of, be like, yeah, someday that's what I want to do, that you want to rehash, or something that inspires you to reinterpret?
A lot of other jazz pianists focus a lot on standards. And I mentioned Keith Jarrett earlier. His whole career was very much related to the way he would uniquely interpret standards that had been played by many other artists, but he had his own very personal way of taking those same melodies and harmonies and making them his own. I've done a little bit of that, but not as much as I would like to. And one of my dreams would be to do a kind of standards album like that, where I would take very well-known melodies and try to give them my own interpretation.
Are so timeless for aficionados of jazz and jazz side?
I have no idea. If anybody does have the clear answer to that, please contact me and let me know, because I would love to try to have some kind of awareness of how to do it again. But I don't. The way those things happened to me and the way they ultimately became successful was a whole combination of unknown circumstances, timing, mystery. I don't know, and maybe that's part of the fun, the passion of creating that way, because you don't know how it's going to come out, and you don't know whether the audience is going to like it or not. So I just trust my instincts, keep trying to do it, and maybe there's another Westchester Lady or another Angela in my future. I don't know, but I'll keep trying.
How does it make you feel to know that Feel Like Making Live is out on all these different formats?
I'm thrilled and extremely proud that I am affiliated with a record company whose attention to quality is so much a part of what this company is all about. And to have my music released in that kind of way and given that kind of attention to detail and to quality, a musician can't ask for any more than that. So thank you, Evil Sound, for the great job you've been doing to bringing this music to the audiences with the highest possible audio and video quality.
What are your upcoming plans musically for the new year?
I got a eclectic year coming up. I've got a project that I just completed with a very young electronic music-based musician, Sam Franz. We call our project 2080. And I've got several different pieces that are works in progress with different hip-hop artists. I've got so many things that I'm not quite ready to announce publicly, but I can definitely use the word eclectic and not feel like I'm exaggerating.